How does Spotify calculate its return on ad spend? In this video, we're going to explain the formula Spotify and similar companies use to calculate their return on ads, how you can do the same with a template we created, and how to use the template to get started. If you want to go straight to the tool explainer, do so now. In January of 2022, Spotify controlled 31% of the subscription music streaming market, with double the share of Apple Music. This dominance, though, comes with larger customer acquisition costs. It takes money to make money. I feel like there's probably a song on Spotify about that. Spotify CEO Daniel Ek. As a growth stock, Spotify is assessed by new subscriber growth. But for a subscription company with a freemium business model, each new subscriber takes an upfront cost to acquire, while the revenue brought in comes over a longer time horizon. To calculate return on ad spend, companies need to know how much they spent to acquire each customer and that customer's lifetime value, or how much they will spend on average over their lifetime as a customer. But Spotify has to calculate a customer's lifetime value a little differently than other companies. Here's how the tech strategist Anu Shah broke it down. The LTV of a Spotify subscriber depends on the average revenue per user. This is then subtracted by the cost of revenue, or how much Spotify spends on average per subscriber. These numbers are then divided by the churn rate, or the rate of subscribers that are lost over a given period. Back in 2019, Spotify's average return per user was $5.4, while the cost of revenue per user, according to Shah's calculations, came out to $3.9. Divided by an average 4.5% monthly churn rate, this came out to an average LTV of $31.1. Now, we have to determine Spotify's subscriber acquisition costs. To determine the true cost per subscriber for Spotify, the cost to support the free product also needs to be considered. Shah calculated Spotify's total sales and marketing costs per new gross subscribers, and the cost of revenue to support free users divided by the total free users to find Spotify's CAC, $16.2 per user. According to Shah's calculations, Spotify made $14.9 for every subscriber in 2019, which made Spotify's LTV to CAC ratio approximately 2.2. For reference, 3 and above is typically what you want. Back then, Spotify had 116 million free users and 94 million paid users. But as of Q1 2022, Spotify has basically doubled those numbers. But in 2021, the company spent over $1 billion on sales and marketing, largely due to advertising costs for its campaigns increasing. According to its Q1 filings, the company already spent almost $300 million on sales and marketing just this year. So what if Spotify wanted to cut back on its ad spend in Q2 and optimize its acquisition efforts? It could figure out how many of those new users came from which ad platform, analyze the CAC per platform against its LTV, and optimize accordingly. Well, we're going to show you how to do exactly that with a fully customizable template that we've created. This KPI board spreadsheet allows you to input up to 1 million rows of raw data, filter a subset to view your most important metrics, and it automatically generates pre-made charts to visualize this data for reports and analysis. This spreadsheet isn't only for analyzing marketing spend. It's built to be an abstract tool to analyze any type of data. It could be sales data, bug or issues data, a project to-do list, features to implement, or even stock market analysis. With it, you can rename and customize up to 2 date ranges, 2 numeric values, and 5 drop-down values to filter and compare against each other. When it's all done, create beautiful KPI charts to share with the rest of your team. Now, I'll show you how to use it to compare which ad platform gave us the highest return on ad spend. So, the first thing we want to do is update our inputs. As with any UXX spreadsheet, the text in blue is a user input for you to change. Since we'll assess our ad spend with this report, we'll change the inputs to track when a user joined as a free member and the date they paid as a paid subscriber. Then we'll update our numerics to track how much the user spent as a subscriber and how much it costs to acquire them. And last, we'll update our drop-down fields to cover our most important metrics about the user. In this case, the metric we care the most about is the ad platform that they came from. Last thing, We'll make sure that we check off each box as we edit it to validate to the rest of our team that it's been updated to match our report specifications. Next up, we need to enter the drop-down values that we will assess. As you can see, we have location data from all the regions we acquired subscribers, the type of ad that captured them, and the platform they were acquired from. You will need to update these values so the filter function and the dashboard will know which values to search for. If a value is not defined here in this drop-downs tab, it won't appear in the filter or dashboard tab. Now, after we've defined our drop-down values, we can enter our raw data here. In this case, we've already entered all our data about each user. Now, these two numbers are important. The total spent per customer is equivalent to their lifetime value. We want to compare each user's acquisition costs versus the lifetime value to determine our return on ad spend by platform. For more tools to help you improve and report on your customer acquisition efforts, you should check out the video on how to acquire more customers after you finish this. So here is the filter tab, where you can edit the blue fields to match our search query. We want to analyze data from every subscriber on our list, so we're not going to change the date range. We've also set the numeric fields to include up to our maximum LTV, which in this example is $150. So the real filters we need are the acquisition costs, which will cap at $40. For now, let's leave all the drop-down filters the same. These filters can be edited and updated with the drop-down menus, but won't be applied until this box is checked. Below, we can see all of the data that matches our filter query now. But what we really want is to visualize this data so it's easy to analyze and report. Here, the dashboard shows us a high-level overview of the data in our search filter, separated by our date 1 and date 2 fields, our dropdowns, and our numeric fields. In this instance, we want to view our customer acquisition costs per platform compared to our average LTV gained per platform. And as we can see, Instagram ended up being our best performing platform. Now, let's say we know our break-even point and we can't spend more than $25 to acquire a customer. We can actually go back and filter our acquisition costs between $1 and $25. Let's check the dashboard. And now we see which of the platforms we should continue using to get the return on ad spend we want. Remember, this is an abstract dashboard that can be updated to match any inputs and drop-down values you define. Sales data, issue tracker data, stock price data, you name it. For a similar tool to this one that's specifically for sales data, you can go watch our video on the KPI dashboard spreadsheet, which you can use to streamline your KPI reports and track your top sales metrics all in one place.